Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Declan Rice is set to become the most expensive English player this week as he joins Arsenal. We're going to be diving into that story right from Jacob Steinberg and also written by the Telegraph now. A couple of other sources as well confirming that Arsenal do have an agreement with West Ham. It is done. It is dusted. Now, Arsenal today have also sent in their bid, £92 million plus £12 million in add-ons. Should all that money be realized, Declan Rice then becomes the most expensive English player ever. Interesting, very, very interesting. Arsenal making history this week. We're going to be diving into the next steps as Arsenal will also be looking to bid for Moises Caicedo and Gundogan, according to the Telegraph and the Guardian as well. And of course, we'll be looking at Ryan Taylor saying that Arsenal obviously will be trying to sign Moises Diaby. They have worked a lot on this deal. They've looked at him for quite a very long period of time, and it's time to sign him. It's time to bring him to the Emirates Stadium. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Good morning to everyone, including Declan Rice, and in the comment box below. Now, we have a debate right here that Declan Rice is not a £100 million player, and that is the debate that we've had in the last video where I broke the story that Arsenal had agreed the deal, and many of you have actually gone, he's not a £100 million player, he should not be the most expensive English player, and Arsenal should definitely not be buying this kind of player for this kind of money. Let's have the conversation right in the comment box below. I'll go first. I don't think he's a £100 million player, but I think the £100 million are a statement of where Arsenal are going, right? I don't think they paid 100 million because they think he's at the levels of Jude Bellingham or Kylian Mbappe, but I think they paid 100 million just to make sure that there is motivation in the squad and there is that clear definition of where we want to be and where we are going, right? So that's what I think. Let's get this video to 1,000 likes. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the podcast and you're having your thoughts and comments in the comment box below. Is he a 100 million player? Let's have that conversation right there. Is he worth £100 million, okay? We've talked about winning the title, and most of you agreed that, yeah, he can make us win the title. So then, is he a 100 million, million player? Declan Rice. Let's get into the stories. First and foremost, of course, yesterday, the Guardian broke the story at around midnight that Arsenal and West Ham had agreed a deal closing to £100 million. This deal is expected to be done and dusted this week. Today, we are also confirming that Arsenal now sent in their bid for Declan Rice. £92 million plus £12 million in add-ons. That will take the deal to around £104 million. That makes Declan Rice the most expensive player, the most expensive English player in the history of the game. Of course, you have to know that Madrid have actually bought Jude Bellingham for £103 million. Arsenal, million euros, sorry. Arsenal are willing to pay £104 million for Declan Rice. It's amazing. It's purely amazing. And the Telegraph today, of course, in the morning, I've also written a very, very extensive piece and say that the agreement that Arsenal have with West Ham was always expected because Arsenal put in a lot of work, since January, and they've said that in the at the moment, all the other clubs interested in the player and in the deal are actually backing off. Right, look, I said this yesterday in the in the evening. If you've watched that video, big up. If you don't watch that video, you can go and watch it. I said that Declan Rice has never been a £100 million signing. But he is a statement signing, that's number one, and he's a player that is definitely going to define where Arsenal are going. This is more like, a piece of motivation and a clear strategy to show Mikel Arteta, to show the team that this is where we are going. I don't think if Arsenal wanted an everyday or your usual central midfielder, we didn't have to pay 50 million. We could go and sign maybe Gabriel Viega. We could sign, sign Milinkovic-Savic. All those deals are below 50 million euros. But why Arsenal have decided to go this big and why we've decided to go this huge is one, there is that longevity in a player like Declan Rice. He's 24 right now. 10 years to come, he will be 34. And I reckon he will be still playing in that Arsenal midfield at 34, right? But even if he plays until 30, those are 6 years, down the road for Declan Rice to man the Arsenal midfield and do whatever he thinks. So for me, the longevity, the durability of a player like Declan Rice, the fact that he plays 38 games, in the Premier League, and then he plays, he will play for you every single game in the UEFA Champions League, and then we will play for you every single game in the FA Cup. The durability, the fact that you can rely on him is why Mikel Arteta's gone, I need such a player in my squad. I think that is Granit Xhaka. That's what Xhaka has been doing, for Arsenal. Every single game, last campaign that Xhaka was available, he was either selected from the bench or he started, okay? And I think that's what Declan Rice is going to give us. Play in the UEFA Champions League, play in the FA Cup, play in the Premier League, play almost each and every single game. So the debate that Arsenal should not make him the most expensive player in the Premier League, the most expensive English player in the Premier League, is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous because one, there is no way you're gonna sign him from West Ham, who have an option to extend his contract by another year if you're not willing to meet their terms and conditions. And of course, you don't want to attract attention. You don't want to attract opposition on this deal. So the only way to get the deal done as quickly and as early as we have done is paying up the money, is coughing up the money. And besides, I don't think Arsenal need 10 more signings to get where we are going. We have a decent 11 that just needs a real upgrade, and we also have an average bench that needs to be made decent. So if we bring in Declan Rice, of course Xhaka leaves, that's automatic, and then we bring in Moises Caicedo, maybe Partey drops to the bench, maybe Caicedo drops to the bench, no questions there. Then we sign a right back who can also play as a centre back, hopefully Joao Cancelo or hopefully Mohamed Simakan. It just makes this window is to raise the levels at Arsenal. We've talked about it before. We've talked about the world class, okay? We've talked about the huge quality upgrade. And for me, Declan Rice is a huge quality upgrade, not only on the pitch, but there's so many other attributes that he brings to Arsenal, especially leadership, especially now the fact that he's won a title in Europe. We don't have, many players who've done that. You have Jorginho, who's done it with Chelsea and Italy. You have Partey who has done it with Atletico Madrid. I don't know. Maybe Gabriel Jesus, has he won anything on Europe with Manchester City? No, he didn't win anything, on Europe with Manchester City. So you look at our squad. You need winners, and you need players with that bossy mentality. And I think Declan Rice is going to boss the midfield. Just imagine having Thomas Partey, and the way he's been bossing the midfield against the likes of City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and all these other clubs. So Partey is bossing the midfield, Rice is bossing the midfield, and Odegaard is just there to receive and thread balls through. It's going to be amazing, purely amazing. So very good investment, in my opinion, by Arsenal. Probably, footballing wise, we will never see the 100 million unless Arsenal win titles, okay? We will never see the 100 million. It's the same with Jack Grealish. Come on. Grealish is a £50 million player who had a very exciting season, and Aston Villa did a bit of very excellent digital marketing, and eventually they got £100 million. Now, this is not very different from what West Ham have done, especially David Moyes going, I'll win you the UEFA Conference League as long as you can get 104 million from Declan Rice, and making the most expensive player ever in our history. So for me, Arsenal have done a very good deal here in terms of on the pitch and off the pitch. I think he's a quality player, but then I also think the physicality in midfield is much needed. Xhaka is a very, very physical player. He's relentless. He works a lot. I think his work ethic is absolutely good. His wife was saying that when Arsenal lose, Xhaka doesn't sleep. That is also quite a very, very, good quality, probably, I should say. And I think Xhaka cares, to be honest. I really, really do think he cares. I just think at times he loses his head. And with Rice, Odegaard, and potentially Partey or Caicedo, you have three players in midfield that will never lose their heads. You have three players that are potential leaders at any level. I think Thomas Partey could captain any side. I think Martin Odegaard is a wonderful captain for Norway and Arsenal at only 23, 24. And Rice has been captain at West Ham and should be captain for England ahead of Harry Kane, in my opinion. I think he's a better leader. He's a much better leader than Harry Kane. It's just my opinion. So for me, Arsenal, the deal is good. Like, absolutely very, very good. Okay. Then let's again, Jacob Steinberg and the Telegraph have also been saying that the next steps for Arsenal from here now will include bidding for Moises Caicedo. Arsenal would love to get that deal quickly as well. It's a deal that I think will drag on through June and July. Obviously, you expect me to be doing a lot of content around that deal. But I'll tell you something. I think Arsenal will be very busy on this one as well. And they're also saying that Ilkay Gundogan is also one of the other targets that Arsenal are looking at. So it looks like Mikel is thinking, why don't I fix my midfield first? Be sure of who's going to play for me in midfire next campaign, and then we can sort out other areas. Now, I was listening to Harry Simeo on TalkSport yesterday. Very great opinions from him, and was saying that it's going to be hard for us not to do all these deals, especially Caicedo and Rice, given the fact that we have to do business somewhere else. You look at right back, maybe left back if we lose one of Kieran Tierney, and then we might look at the centre back as well. We've talked about Simakan, and maybe potentially a forward, right? So those are 4 players that are not even going to play for us in midfield, right? So, but I still think Mikel thinks midfield is a priority. I'll do midfield, and then I'll do other areas. Look, Gundogan is an easy one. It's an easy one either way. It's easy because he goes, I don't want to play for Arsenal. It's easy because he says, he simply says, I want to play for Arsenal, and the deal happens. Okay, it's gonna be a free deal. It's a wonderful one to have. Like, he's a wonderful character to have around your squad. The leadership is won a treble. Do you know having a treble winner in your ranks, like in your squad, it would be marvelous, right? Because look, as you struggle with one trophy, he will tell you the experience. He will lead you through the experience of going through multiple stages to win multiple trophies in the same season. That's why I think Ilkay Gundogan now is such a valuable target. He's such a very, very valuable target. Do I think he will come at Arsenal? I think we have the least chances. I think Saudi Arabia could give him 50 million euros a year. I think Barca could give him the chance to play for such an iconic club like FC Barcelona. I don't think Barca are going to win the UEFA Champions League before Arsenal. Like, I don't think. I think we will win the UEFA Champions League before Barca, right? The next edition. Whenever Arsenal win the UEFA Champions League, it will be before Barcelona. I've looked at Xavi. I've looked at his team. Defensively, they are absolutely solid. They're very, very stingy with giving away goals, but they're not that quality side that everyone is afraid of. So for me, in my opinion, Gundo could go to Barca, right? I don't see him going to the Saudis. I don't think when I look at him, I don't think he's that guy that money is everything for him. So I don't see him go to Saudi Arabia. I don't see him stay at City either, right? But I see him in Barcelona. I think out of respect, he will tell Pep, I want to go, try a new challenge, do something else, but I will not rival you. I will not try to destroy the very own legacy that I have created at this football club, right? I will not rival you. I think that is that's going to be the argument between Pep and Ilkay Gundogan. Moises Caicedo, calm down. It's going to take some time. It is going to take some time. Now, Bayern Munich and PSG are still hoping to hijack the Saliba deal before he absolutely signs it, before he puts pen to paper. He's agreed to sign a new deal with Arsenal. Everything is done and dusted, but the signing stage is what we are waiting for. PSG and Bayern still think they can hijack that deal, especially Bayern Munich that are going to lose Luka Hernandez to PSG. I think this is absolute nonsense. I think Bayern we could see the downfall of Bayern. We could see the destruction of Bayern Munich. If Dortmund had won the Bundesliga this season, things would look a little bit worse than they are in Germany right now. I don't think Saliba will go to Bayern. I don't think Saliba will go to PSG. I think PSG will sign Luka Hernandez. He's French. He wants to play at for the best team ever in France. So I see him going there. Saliba, he's going to be an Arsenal player for the next 6-7 years. That's what I can say, unless we decide to sell him, and that's not going to be this summer. Now, Fabrizio Romano has said that Charlie Patino wants a permanent exit away from Arsenal. He says that the player wants a new challenge. He says Arsenal would love to keep him. We would love to have him on another loan deal, but he doesn't want that. So Charlie Patino and Florian Balogun could potentially be leaving Arsenal in one transfer window. That's disastrous news. That's really disastrous. Because for me, Balogun and Pacino are kind of the representation of Emile Smith-Rowe, Jack Wilshere, and Edin Nketiah. I think that there would be the next generation of players to come from our academy. But if a player doesn't want to be there, what do? You definitely let him go. And Ryan Taylor says that Arsenal will chase Moussa Diaby this summer. They'll try to get the deal done. He's one on their radar for a very, very long time. Hit the like button. Let's meet ourselves in the comment box below.